What do you do when you have experienced profound healing and you want to share it with people who maybe aren't there yet or not quite on the same wavelength with you, like spiritually or physically healing or whatever? So, let me give you the kind of scenario. You experience some small or large miracle in your physical health, your emotional health, your spiritual well being. You have this awakening process, and you're like, I need to shout this from the rooftops. Everybody needs to know. I got to get people doing this. I got to get someone on board. Like, this is incredible. And let's say your friend, your parent, your spouse, particularly your spouse, maybe isn't there yet. Like, they don't get it. They're not really into the spirituality, or they're not into shifting to a plant-based diet and doing this like deep detoxing and healing work. How do you manage that? So I'm just going to be blunt and I'm going to say you shut your damn mouth. Because when you are going through this healing process, if you try to force it or push it on someone else who is not ready, what you actually end up doing is creating more resistance for them. Because we've all got to come into healing in our own time. And for some people that happens early, for some people that happens a lot later, for some people it never happens because it's not part of their path, it's not part of their journey, or it's not what they desire. So when you experience the physical healing, the emotional change, the sense of groundedness, the sense of peace, that trusting, that knowingness, and you're just like, wow, this makes life so different. I see things from a different way. Your mission, that's ascension, right? That's the process of ascension, is you're transcending the ego. You're releasing limiting beliefs. You're seeing life from a higher perspective. You're moving into higher vibration emotions like love and joy and peace and compassion. This is beautiful work. Obviously, you don't want to stop that, but your job is to be the beacon. So to be the example, but not to be the teacher of people who have not asked for teaching. It's like when people come knocking on your door trying to convert you and you're like, no, I don't want this. Someone tries to hand you these pamphlets when you're walking down the street, or you're in the mall and someone's trying to like heckle you and tell you to like come buy their product. You're like, I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want that. That's how people feel when we go, oh my gosh, you have to try this. You have to go get a session with so-and-so. You have to start eating plant-based. They're like, So what you actually do is you push them away from it, and you make, if they are meant to use those tools, because remember, there are many different tools and many different paths to ascension. And all of us have a unique path. Not everyone needs to go plant-based. Not everyone needs to meditate. Not everyone needs to abstain from alcohol. Not everyone needs to be totally sober. Not everyone needs to cut all toxins out of their life, right? Like, everyone's got a different path. Everyone has different teachers, different books, different everything. So our job, when you feel like you have achieved some level of healing or some level of lightness in your life, is to simply lead by example. If someone comes to you and asks you, wow, you look great, what are you doing? You can say, oh, they've opened the door, right? I started eating more plant-based. I started drinking celery juice. I started drinking lemon water. I started meditating. Give them what they're willing to receive, but you're gonna notice a point where you hit a wall where they're not really like, they start to get like, I don't know what this is. Leave it at that. Don't push it or force it on anyone. I can tell you from personal example, when people purchase a session for a loved one, or they really encourage and push someone to do a session with me, if that person's not fully aligned, they're not going to receive the benefits that the person who is fully aligned receives. And so what you actually can do is make them more of a skeptic, because then they feel like, well, it didn't work. So, because it's not aligned for them. So, and trust me, I have done this. I have pushed my beliefs on other people. I have tried to tell people how great certain methods of healing are and certain types of energy healing, and So I've learned the hard way as well. But our job is to be the example and to lead by example and to spread our light in our little daily interactions, where someone will say to you, gosh, you just seem so much happier. Like, you look lighter. And then you can, again, they open the door, you can start to explain. But for the most part, our job is just to allow our energy to ripple out and allow our energy to trickle down through our family lines. And the people who want the healing will find it, and the people who don't will say no thank you. So you'd be surprised what I have personally seen someone saying, I don't know what you're doing, you can do whatever you want, but I want nothing to do with this. And then 6 months later, they're like 90% on board with what I'm doing. And if you try to force and push it, again, you're creating more resistance. So don't try to force people to swim upstream. Allow them their process and allow them their space. And that's really, as you continue to ascend and move into higher vibrations of being, you have to get better and better at that, because the higher you go, the fewer people are up there. And so some people feel like ascension can actually be a lonely process, because you lose a lot of friendships, a lot of relationships change. People move out of your life, and you sometimes find fewer people that you feel like you can really connect with and really be your authentic self with. That's getting better because we have the internet where we can reach exactly who is resonating with us. But in your day-to-day life, you may find that there are a lot of changes that happen in your relationships as you change. Because remember, you are changing, and you have to honor the fact that other people may not want to change with you. So don't try to convert anyone. Don't try to convince anyone. Don't brag about it. Don't open up conversation that someone else has not initiated. You just remain grounded in your light. You remain grounded in your compassion, and you witness where other people are, and you respect that. That's really the key, is respecting other people's journey through this. And we all have to kind of make a few mistakes along the way to help us understand where that boundary is. That's a normal part of experimenting with your sort of new energy field that you're living in. But definitely don't go down the conversion route by any way, shape, or form. So that's a lengthy answer to a simple question. Just shut your mouth if the opportunity arises. Throw a little nugget of wisdom at people. But for the most part, this is a journey on your own. This is a journey of your inner work and of your inner healing. And we can do it in divine connection, in sisterhood, in circles, in brotherhood. We can do it in relationship, but it's primarily a solo journey. And then we come back to those relationships. Here's where I'm at. This is what I'm learning. Where are you at? How can I support you? But it's a solo journey. It really is. It's a voyage that we have to take on our own. And so remember that this is your path, and someone else's path may be extremely different. Even if you were on the same path for a period of time, paths will split. So remain strong in your healing. Just be that beacon, be that light, and drop little nuggets here and there where you can, but otherwise keep your mouth shut. All right, sending you guys love, and I hope that serves you in navigating the changes that happen as you ascend and you go through this spiritual awakening process.